I wanted to kind of like let the gentleman know what I think is a real good, simple general rule of thumb for moving stops to break even. If I could have a couple minutes to talk like that.
Oh, absolutely, brother. It's all you.
So, obviously, it's dependent upon what you're looking to trade time frame wise. What's the duration for your trade? Where ultimately you think it's going to go? Where's the terminus, the target, and where you're trying to get in at in deference into where you think the move started. Because you could look at the marketplace and say, "Oh wow, I missed a better entry below for a long that's going to take up this high or relative equal high," or vice versa for someone looking for a short. You may have missed the actual best case scenario for a short, but still use a PD array to get involved with the next portion of that run. So knowing where you're getting in at and where you think it's going to go, that's obviously your specific implied dealing range. So it's left of the move. So from entry to where you're going to go and target, that range needs to be defined in terms of quadrants, where you're at in the lowest quadrant, the midpoint of it, consequent encouragement, or and the upper quadrant, and then the final terminus target. In my opinion, and this is how I teach my kids, that way it's not something I'm just pulling out of my ass. It's something that I'm telling them what to do. So it's a real quick, easy way of doing it. As soon as you know where you are entering and where the market's drawing to, where's your target, where's your final exit point, or if you're going to use that as your target and then you leave a runner on after that, whatever that target is, that's terminus. As soon as the position goes to profit and then it moves 50% of whatever that target is, it's foolish for you to absorb any kind of loss or eat the costs of commissions and fees. So, in other words, let's assume for a moment you think that the range is going to move 100 handles, okay, or 100 pips in deference to the folks that are trading the Forex market. If it moves 50 handles or 50 pips, you need to have your stop loss covering costs. And that way you can completely remove all concern about being right or wrong. You're getting a free look at it. You don't have to worry about it. And here's the thing that you're going to be wrestling with, because I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, what happens if the volatility is kind of high and it comes down and stops me out? That's why I have all these different PD arrays, because I'll use a new 15-second fair value gap to get me in line with the move if I get stopped out. Getting stopped out needs to be something that you don't fear. And really, what are you losing if you get stopped out if you're following this criteria? You're not losing anything, right? I mean, you're getting your commission costs covered. You're getting no absorbed actual loss. So your monetary loss is nothing. You've paid for the ticket to see if it can get to the destination you wanted to get to, but your flight just got canceled. You got grounded. They had to fly back to the airport, and you got to wait for another airplane. It's as simple as that. So when you have this mindset and you adopt this viewpoint on it, it's very liberating, and it removes that fear of missing the move. So in short, know where you think the market's going to go. Where's your target? Where's your terminus? Once it moves 50% of that range and you're in profit, then you move your stop to cover costs. That means real break even, not just simply, well, it's zero, because we trade in futures. So that means there's going to be real costs associated with it. It's not high if you're using a good broker, but you want to make sure you cover it a little bit. Sometimes when you hear me talk about it, I'm facetiously talking about covering, you know, pizza. Get pizza covered. So in other words, I'm trying to make $20, $25, $30, just to put something in my pocket for my time. But 50% of what you think the range is going to be to target, once that's fulfilled and you see it, once it ticks there one time, it doesn't need to trade above it. Okay, as soon as it touches 50% of the distance or range you think it's going to move to, as soon as that happens, without thought, without concern, without emotion, without any kind of fear of getting stopped out, you cover costs, move the break even, cover the cost for your commissions and fees, and just simply let the trade pan out. If it stops you out, then reassess. Is it still viable? Is it something that just you got caught off guard? Because your experience is going to dictate whether or not you're going to be able to get back in a trade or not. More skilled veteran students of mine have no problem getting back into a move they got stopped out at. And it's not costing you anything. It didn't cost you anything. And regretting, whether or not you didn't take a partial. Don't even worry about that, because if the trade's still good and you think it's going to go to that term as target, it's easy to get back into the trade again. And I've done many trades over my career like that, where, when I first started adopting this mindset, it completely changed the whole outlook of what I'm trying to do on a day by day basis when I started becoming a very active day trader. Because if you can't overcome that fear of missing out or fear of being wrong, you see how this does both? It cancels out the necessity for being right. It cancels out the fear factor that's associated with being wrong, and it covers the cost. So you're getting a free plane ticket to see if it can take you to that destination of interest. And if it doesn't take you on that airplane, that flight, you're just going to jump on another plane. It's simple as that. There's nothing to fear. And ultimately, if you do it again and you get stopped out and you take a loss, it's okay, because you should have a model that you're not looking at a one-trick pony that only works once in a while. And your back testing should prove to you that it's not a one-trick pony. Hopefully, it's a fair answer.